I want to welcome you back to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. Man, I tell you, I got a show for you today. You ever had a show? You want a show? I got one for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I am so excited. This next guest that I have here is so special, such a wonderful person, great personality, and the name. I'm going to do it. You guys know how bad I am with names. Okay, Mocienne. I did it. She's got the thumbs up. Mocienne. Doesn't that ring? And it's beautiful. I want to welcome her to the show. Welcome to the show, Mocienne.
Hi, Yaya.
Hey, girlfriend. How you doing?
Amazing.
Awesome. So we're both smiling.
Yes.
Because we love smiles, and I love her smile.
Thank you.
So, Mocienne, tell me about yourself.
You know, I'm a singer, composer, songwriter, but the most what I'm proud with is being a mother. I'm a mother of an angry 21-year-old son. You know the age,
Yeah.
difficult, you know. So I'm being ignored right now by my son because I tell him to be nice to girls. So, but anyway, I'm still in love, so in love to be a mom. So that's my proud and joy, of course.
Awesome. So you have written books as well. Tell me about that.
In 2010, I came into the world media because I had to claim my rights as a daughter of Michael Jackson, my inherit my rights. And to do so, I had to do that before 9 months after Michael Jackson died. After that, even DNA will prove, or anyone will prove that I'm his daughter. I will have no legal rights on his estate. And I wanted to have the legal right on his estate because I'm his daughter.
Now, tell me about this because I'm looking at this. You have the memoir, the 3 books already published. So I know that you have that. I had to type it out, girl. I had to get it because it was like, what? So the world knows Michael Jackson as the king of pop. However, you know him as a father. Did you stay with him? I mean, tell me about that.
You know, for me, it's really phenomenal because I did not know my father was an artist. I just grew up for the beginning of my life. I grew up in Santa Barbara, California, and he was just dad to me. And the funny thing is, my father always told me he was a police guy, working in a police force in California, and doing army things. So, and I knew as a child, my father had an amazing voice. He could sing amazing. I was always, when I cried, I wanted to stop crying so I can listen to his voice. So I found out that my father was an artist when I was no longer with him. And I was kidnapped in 1984. So I did not know he was the king of pop. To me, he was just my dad working for a police officer.
Kidnapped?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's go back for a second. I do want to talk about that because that's big. So what are your childhood memories with your father?
You know, I have so much amazing childhood memories for me. Everybody keep asking me the questions. And one of the things is that my dad, he loves to read. He loved to read. He loved to sit on a tree. My dad, he loved to fishing, you know. And just being with my dad, just a simple thing, coming from school, and then my dad sitting in front of the tree, going fishing with my dad, going to, how do you say it? We went through carnivals in Brasilia, in Jamaica, just flying around the world. You know, as a child, I had no idea my father was rich. For me, it was just normal that we could fly everywhere. To me, it was normal that we had a private helicopter, you know. I thought everybody had it. So it didn't make me realize my father was different. It made me realize, but I love my dad very much, and we did an amazing thing.
You know, everybody, the entire world was in disbelief and in mourning when your father passed away. How did you find out about his death?
I was working very late in the evening, and I was writing a complaint about my child protection, because I wrote a book called Trilogy, The Dark Side of the Netherlands, where I was writing about what the child protection did to me when I was kidnapped, all the mistakes. And that evening I was just writing, and I worked very late. So I went to bed. And there's a time difference between California and the Netherlands. I believe it's 9 hours. So I put my phone out because I was working, I was writing. So when I wake up in the morning, I start to listen to my voicemails. And everybody was giving me the condolences. You know, I'm a mother. So the first thing that go to my head, oh, my son, what happened to my son? You know, you don't think about your father. You think about, so the first thing that you do, that I did, was thinking about my son. So I was thinking, who are they condoling me? So I take another phone. I'm trying to call my ex to see if he picks up, because my son lived with him, and to see if my son is okay. So I have two phones in my hands. Once I listen to the voicemail saying, who are they condoling me? And then one of my nurses who worked for me, for my company, Thuiszorg Ernestine, he said, his name was Leo, he said to me, I want to give you my condolences with your father. And that's when my heart just stopped. So I heard through a voicemail.
I remember when my dad passed away 2 years ago, and it was heart-wrenching. You know, the love of a father and a daughter, you know, it's special. It really truly is special. Wow. And you know, it's hard. It's hard because those phone calls you could make, or the contact you could have, is no longer there. And so it is hard. It is hard. Now, let's go back a second. You said kidnapped. Who kidnapped you? Do you know?
Yes, I know. Yes, I know.
We're going to leave it there.
You know, the most important thing for me is that I wrote about my kidnapping
okay.
in my book.
Okay, good.
Okay. Outside of the Netherlands.
Gotcha.
And the court knows who kidnapped me. And because I want people to understand, I wrote my book.
Good. Okay. So if they want to know, they need to get the book. And that's wonderful, because now they can sit down and read and get the you know, each one, instead of paraphrasing. I don't like paraphrasing too much either. Now, okay, let's go to Thriller. Thriller is a very open and honest book here. And how does it make her feel when people say she's crazy, or you know, they don't believe the life story, or she's, you know, she's crazy. You know, how does that make you feel?
You know, the most important thing for me that I wrote the book was a memorial to my dad. Memorial to my father. Thriller Betrayal is a memorial to my dad. A Michael Jackson person life outside of being the world famous artist of the wall, Thriller. You know, I'm showing a side of my father that he was capable to have outside him being famous, you know, because I didn't understand why. I didn't know that my father was a world famous man, and how he could have hidden it from me that he was so famous. I didn't understand that. You know, to me, I have scars on my body of my kidnapping. So every day of my life, if I look at my body, I can see the scars. I can see the knife. I can see the cuts, you know. And that's all because Michael Jackson is my father, you know.
Wow.
You know, let me tell you, I have pee in my bed till I became pregnant. When I became pregnant of my son, nightmares stopped. You know, and it's something, being pregnant, having a child really makes you becoming a lion and a strong bear or a tiger, you know. So when I was pregnant of my son, it was the first time in my life I stopped having nightmares about me as my dad, my dad being his daughter. So on the moment I was pregnant of my son. So writing my book, that people saying that I'm crazy, I don't really care because if I look at my body, I can see the scars. And I have the scars because Michael Jackson is my father. I have breasts today because Michael Jackson paid for it. Because when I was kidnapped, someone tried to cut off my breast. I was 9 years old. I still have the scars here. So every time when I'm looking at my big breast, I'm thinking, huh, my dad paid for it. So when people say to me that I'm crazy and I think you don't know me. You don't know what I survived to be here today. You don't know the sacrificing that my father went to become the biggest artist. You don't know me. So, and I didn't write my book Thriller Betrayal for these people who want to say you're crazy, and I don't quite care what they think. I wrote my autobiography for people who do care, who do want to get to know what's the story behind this woman. That's me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I wanted to. For me, when Michael Jackson died, the hardest thing was for me that people did not know how great he was. I was thinking, you are all worship him as for the artist that he is, but as a human being, he was much more. He was a humanitarian. He always smiled. He always smiled. He make jokes. He's funny. He's a lover. You know, he has a woman he had sex with. He's a dancer. He's a ballerina. He's a yoga freak. You know, he's a bookworm. He is so much. He is so much more. You are crying that you are crying that you are losing the man, the artist on the stage. But he's so much more. He's so much more fun. He's an amazing, brilliant businessman. He's a lion. He's stronger. You know. He educates himself out of nothing. He's extremely smart that he can tell me, hide from me, that he's a famous artist. I know him just as a normal guy.
Yeah. Wow.
As
Wow.
as no one, the normal guy, the guy who's trying to learn to cook. You know, the funny, just amazing.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and what I want, one of my happy moment with my dad when he called me, because I spoke to him before he died, and then I always said to him, they need to call you the king of liar. You're a good liar. You know.
Wow.
He was so amazing and writing my book was my memorial. I was thinking, I want to write a memorial. I want to show the world that he's so much more than that. He's brilliant.
Wow.
He's brilliant, phenomenal as a human being. Just as a human being. If you compare Michael Jackson with an artist and as a human being, he's much more than a human being than an artist. And I wanted to put this in my memorial of Thriller Betrayal.
Right. Wow. You know, being an artist, understanding that there is a life behind the stage that most people don't see.
Yeah.
And just the sheer humanity of it all. You know, growing up in the music industry myself with my mother, I know my mom sacrificed so much for me. And you know, I didn't really understand when I was young how big she was until I got older. And I didn't realize that I lived better than a lot of people. I had no idea because you're so young. It's just something that happened. You grew into it. It wasn't something that you didn't think wasn't an everyday thing. So yeah, I understand. I totally get it. I totally get it. So
Well, for me, I was raised as I was raised that Diana Ross was the famous one in the family.
oh wow.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, I always had to say, "Who's your aunt?" Diana Ross. She's the singer. You know, can you even imagine the joke that my father, Michael Jackson, was bigger than her as an artist, and I only grow up with Diana Ross is the fame. It's the famous person. You know, so Michael Jackson wasn't even a part of that understanding in my world.
Right.
Everybody kept it from me.
Wow.
You know, I want to tell you one story I really want to share with you about Barry White. He was my favorite uncle. I believe I was 6 years or 7 years old, but one thing that I know is that Barry White was going to get married somewhere. I don't know, Jamaica or whatever. And I went with Michael Jackson, my father, to Barry White wedding. And then, I don't know, it was maybe the first time that I know him, but my father was making jokes about Barry White. He said, he's a big, strong black guy, but his name is White, but he's not white. But he's not white, he is black. You know, he is black. And I wasn't a good eater as a child, so my father and Barry White had many children around him. He had a lot of children around him. So my father told Barry White I wasn't allowed to eat this, eat that, and then Barry White said, your dad is gone. You can eat everything. You can eat and he was the nicest man in my life. And the man that ever kissed me for the first time on my mouth was Marvin Gaye.
Wow. Just the history of it all.
Yeah, I remember that because he was the only man in my world that really took my face and really really kissed me. His masturbated, you know, his tickle, you know. It was the first. He loved children so much. He loved children so much. Barry White and Marvin Gaye was really. Stevie Wonder was really also very nice. But these guys, they were so in love with life and real. I didn't even know how big they are because so much love.
Yes, definitely.
They are more than the talent.
Definitely.
And I'm grateful that I met them in my life.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. So what about the DNA? Has that been done yet? Are you still looking to do that?
In 2011, I went to court and I asked Catherine Jackson in probate court to do a DNA test with me, and she declined.
Right.
And I couldn't do a DNA test with deceased because the court of California doesn't have the jurisdiction to do so inside probate. You can only do a DNA test with the deceased in crime. And maybe when you go to trial and on a civil, you can try, but then it's very hard. I believe you need to have permission from the family. So I couldn't get the recognition of DNA testing because the state of California doesn't have jurisdiction.
Right.
So
are you? I'm sorry.
The media was very mean to say my case was rejected because my case is still open till today. And because Catherine Jackson didn't want to do a DNA test with me, I decided to write my autobiography. So if you ever go to trial, people can go and read my book, what the trial is about.
Right. Because, I mean, there is a future. You can still request it. Am I correct?
In civil, yes.
Okay.
But not with Michael Jackson, the deceased body. But then I have to do it with Catherine Jackson or Janet Jackson or Jermaine Jackson or any Jackson, any family, direct family, because it's the same DNA.
Right. What message would Michael have, you know, for today's world?
I was thinking about that. My father, he was very religious man. He believed in prayer and in positivity. And to me, this is why he survived the Jackson 5. He became the artist that he is. He was really into religion, every religion. For him, every religion is the same. So when I hear people said in the end of the life of my dad was a Muslim or Jewish, he doesn't mind. He believed deeply in prayer, and because prayer is for him positivity. So I think the only thing that my father would say, keep faith and keep believing in the good of people, and don't give up hope, because he survived his life on hope and dreams.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So what are the feedback? I mean, do you have any feedback from the books that you've written so far?
Yes. I don't want to sound very arrogant, but even I studied music for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a professional songwriter.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I'm professional. So I can write song. I get royalties from songs that I wrote.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Be My Stem Rock. Thank you. So, but everybody was very surprised that I'm a good writer, and so they didn't. My writing. I was raised speaking 7 languages.
Mm-hmm.
So if I write something, my ABC is not so correct, but I love my editor.
Mm-hmm.
They will they will correct an extra A for you, or they will remove the P and put an F.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
my editor. So everybody knows that I write a little bit strange. My English writing is horrible, but I can write.
Okay.
I can write. If I write, I want you to give me apples. Maybe you will see some spelling in it. I don't have any dyslexia. I was raised with a lot of languages, and I never had the time to really write languages really well. I write Dutch really well because I've been living for 36 years in Netherlands. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, they know my writing. People who know me, they will say, oh my God, you can write, you can really write. We recognize your writing. And I felt like a little bit embarrassed, Mm. But anyway, I feel very proud that they like that I can write. And they, one of the interesting story for me is that people who know me for years, they reading my book and they coming to me, and then they say to me, Mocienne, we've been friends for 25 years, but you know what? I realized I don't know you. I have never known you. Who are you? We need to have some dinner. We need to talk about more about your life. So I get a lot of friends that they feel now with this book, they really get to know me.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Wow. Wow. Your story is so interesting. I mean, where can people find your books? Where can they find this to get more information about you, about your kidnapping, about all the things that you went through and what you're trying to do today?
I have a partnership contract with Kobo in Canada, and I believe it's Rocket on the Rocket. They have a lot of partnerships. Okay. So if you want my ebooks, you go to find the partnerships with Kobo. You can find it where, if you want, you can download the ebook. And if you want to have my book in paperback, you can buy it on Amazon, and you can buy it in every partners of Amazon. So even Barnes and Mobile. So you can find it really everywhere. If you have the title, you can order it. You can find it everywhere.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to try it again. The name is so beautiful. Mocienne, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying here.
The name is Moon Trail. Means Moon Trail.
Moon Trail. Beautiful name.
Moon Trail. I'm a strail of the moon.
Wonderful. Beautiful name, beautiful name. And I want to thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you so much for bringing your story and your books. And, you know, you guys, this has been such a pleasure having you on the show. I'm telling you, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Can you tell me who's behind you? Yeah, on the pictures.
Oh, this is my son in Paris. And I have a Buddha. I believe in Buddhas. And it is me, a small photo of me and me with my son when he was a baby, 9 months old.
Aw, such a wonderful thing. It's so beautiful to see family in pictures. You know what I mean? It's just wonderful, wonderful, beautiful. I want to thank you so much again for being on the show. And all of Mocienne's information will be in the description box below. You guys know how we go. Just go ahead and click and it'll take you straight there. Support, be a support, learn about some things that just might be, let's say, turn your world upside down. Just put it that way. I want to thank you again so much. You're so beautiful. And thank you so much again. This has been such a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you, Yaya.
And thank you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And don't forget to dare to be different. All right, guys. Good night. Wow, what a wonderful story.
Thank you.
I dare to be different. 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 I dare.